We've got our SuperSprings booth and also Sumo Springs. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic, Annie. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm good. It's actually the end of a really long day at SEMA, but we may have saved the best for last. So we're going to have Mike tell us all about what we're standing in front of right here. What are we looking at?
This is our initial product, which is the SuperSprings. So we're involved in the suspension business and have been for almost 20 years. We started out with the SuperSpring, and I was at this show probably a dozen years ago, had an older gentleman come up to me and say, "Let me tell you what I love best about your product." I said to him, "Please do." He said, "I fit it and I forget about it." I said, "You know, it's a little cryptic for me. Tell me what you mean." And he said, "I've been installing every other suspension product on the market out there for about 35 years. Most of them involved air, and what customers don't seem to understand, air under pressure is trying to do one thing, and that's equalize and get out of there."
Right.
He said, regardless of how many times I tell them, you've got to maintain these products, not because the products are sketchy, but they need maintenance, they don't do it. So whether it's 2 months or 6 months or 2 years later, invariably they're coming back to me, they want me to fix it for nothing. He said, "Your product, I fit it, I forget it, I never see them again."
Wow.
We took that and it became a mantra of ours, where we not only applied it to the SuperSpring, but all of the subsequent products that we've developed. It needs to meet that criteria. Can the customer fit it and forget about it?
Wow.
So absolutely maintenance free.
That's awesome.
The SuperSpring is still our #1 product,
Okay.
and basically what you see here is what people get. The yellow spring pack, this is an OE spring pack. It happens to be off a Chevy 2500.
Okay.
All of our products are geared towards providing additional load leveling and load carrying support.
Okay.
In addition, they'll reduce left to right body roll, and in some cases actually enhance comfort. Okay.
Wow.
So this one, what you see, the yellow is the OE spring pack. Okay. The black portion is our SuperSpring that simply bolts on top. It's entirely mechanical, but it all adjusts automatically because of this very simple shackle system, which has a series of rollers. I'm going to get another one for you. This happens to be a lighter duty version, and you'll notice how these rollers pivot. And in fact, it's a series of rollers. It's a double roller, and it allows the factory spring to move on the roller. So the principle is very uncomplicated, very simple. It's all based on the wheel. Okay? So regardless of whether you got 50, 500, or 5,000 pounds, the spring will accommodate to adjust, assuming, of course, you have the appropriate spring.
What is the installation like on this? Is this something that I can put on myself, or am I going to need an installer to help me out with this?
Most of our stuff can be DIY. Okay? If you're comfortable jacking up the back of your vehicle, the rest is nuts and bolts. You can bolt it on. So this is, you know, what you see is what you get. On the back of, once the back of this, and this happens to be a back application obviously, once it's lifted, we ship our springs fully assembled. That way it's our quality control, so you're not getting bags of nuts and bolts and washers and the likes. It comes fully assembled. You're actually going to undo these bottom bolts, okay, and place the spring on top of the OE spring pack. You have the legs hanging down. You'll attach the first side. On some of the heavier applications, we make some install tools to help people pull that side down, but typically just a regular C-clamp, pulling the other side down. You attach the opposite end and you're done.
That's pretty easy.
Yeah, and we do have different adjustments. If you can see these bolt holes in the shackles there, what this is about is, let's use a Ford F-150 as an example. You get multiple uses for the same truck. So you might be somebody who hooks up your boat and takes it down to the ocean twice a month.
That sounds great. I'll do it.
Exactly.
Sold.
Me, on the other hand, I might be a contractor. I should have bought a 250. I bought a 150. I've got toolboxes, ladder racks. Same truck, different applications. If I want to get more preload on the spring and effectively lift the back of the truck, all we do is we do that through making adjustments on these bolt holes. So even within each application, there's multiple setting options.
Okay, so basically this product, it's going to make it a safer ride, more comfortable ride, and this is good for a variety of customers. I could be the weekend warrior or the commercial guy driving the truck with all the tools.
The common denominator is, if people are not putting a load in the back of that vehicle, they don't need our product.
Don't need it. Okay.
But as soon as they go putting a load in,
right,
that's when they need some help.
that's usually why we drive a truck, right?
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, typically.
What is the warranty like on it?
We have on our non-commercial applications, so recreational applications, 5 years.
Wow.
Okay. on the commercial applications, and let me show you a heavier duty commercial application. This is actually the frame section of a Ford F-350. Okay, again the super spring in this case in black, main spring pack in yellow. As you can see, once again a simple bolt-on application, bolts right over the top of the spring pack. It works in conjunction with it. Okay, on our commercial applications we have a 1-year warranty on that, and the reason for that is the way these commercial trucks get abused sometimes. If we were to extend that warranty, it's just, the liability gets too great. Sure. Because they get hammered, especially in applications like oil fields, where people are rigging up posts out in the boondocks, right. That type of stuff. So we have a 1-year warranty on this.
Okay, great. Great. So we've got a great product, pretty easy to install.
Very easy,
excellent warranties that make a lot of sense. Is there anything else that you want to let our customers know about your products?
The bottom line, not only on the Super Spring, but on all of them, is fit it and forget it. Absolutely maintenance free. There is one other thing that's important to us. All of our product is domestic. None of it is imported. It's all manufactured right here in the USA.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I see something yellow and shiny. To me it looks similar, but it is not. So I need to know what the difference is between the Sumo Springs and the Super Springs.
Great question. Come around, bring the camera around this way. If you take a look at this, this is one of our Sumo Springs. It's a full kit version. Anyone who's been involved in suspension is familiar with an airbag because they've been around for 50 or 60 years, make great products. There's only one downside. Again, there's air inside of an airbag, and typically it's a single or a double convolution, balloon, air under pressure trying to do one thing, get out. You get one puncture, one pinprick. There goes your air suspension. Again, and I want to be clear on this, not because it's a badly made product, quite the opposite, because it doesn't get maintained properly. Okay, so we looked at how do we develop a leak-proof airbag, and we came up with the world's only airless airbags.
Airless airbags.
Airless airbags.
Right, that sounds magical.
Microcellular urethane is the material, and I can show you. So that was our genesis, our starting point. Okay. We then started designing, beyond the full kits, bump stops that fill a void. Basically, the downside with a factory bump stop, if you take a look at this side of the frame, this is the OE bump stop, this yellow piece, and that's the contact point, and there's this large amount of air in between. So typically a bump stop needs to travel 2, 3, sometimes 4 inches before it comes into play, which at that point the damage, it's done. Okay, the back end sitting down, or bump stops on the front side, the front end sitting down if it's a plow type application. So we looked at how do we remedy this. Easy. First of all, we filled the void by making it bigger. Okay. The second thing, our material. Okay, microcellular urethane, so it's air, but the air inside here is all closed cell air bubbles. So if we were to take a blade, a knife, or anything, poke holes in it, no harm, no foul. Okay? As opposed to that single or double convolution.
Right, where it's just going to explode.
So that's the primary difference, okay, over the OE or factory bump stop. Much bigger, we close that void. So now you're in contact right from the get-go. This material is also progressive in nature, meaning the initial compression is the softest, the easiest. So if you have no load in your truck and this bump stop is in contact, you hit a pothole, a speed bump, something like that, it'll compress easily. Okay? When you put a load in the back, as you put more load in, you get greater resistance. Okay? So it's not going to give you that jarring effect that this sort of bump stop would give you when it comes into contact. Okay?
So I think we're a common sense check. Sounds like it. You solved a lot of problems here.
And that's a great comment, because with each of our products, the key ingredient is common sense. Take a look at them, they're uncomplicated. We'll go back to that fit it and forget it.
Sure.
Same thing applies here, fit it and forget it.
Okay.
In that vein, let me show you what we've got for the front end of the half-ton trucks. Coil SumoSpring. This actually is an installation off the front of an F-150 from 05, 6, 7. All of the half-tons now have coil springs in front. And we were inundated with questions from customers, or requests from customers saying, what can you give me for the front of my half-ton when I put a plow on the front? Because as soon as I put that 300, 400, 500 pound plow on the front, the nose sits down. Okay? We looked at what was available on the market. We didn't like what we saw because in many cases it involved undoing original equipment. that doesn't meet our fit it and forget it criteria. Okay? So eventually we came up with these Coil Sumos, an uninstalled example. That's what it looks like. Okay, it's kind of a donut. Okay, it twists.
Oh.
The key is we make them in 6 different sizes, and the sizes relate to the height. Okay, this height correlates to the gap between the coil. Okay, kind of like feet and shoes. If you have a size 7 foot, I'm going to give you a size 7
Thank
shoe.
you.
Okay, all right. So we can go from something this size to, we have a much bigger one here. Same principle, okay? Where you have a coil where the wind is not quite as tight, we go with, again, size 7 foot, size 7 shoe. Key thing on this, real easy installation. Lift the front of the vehicle, slide it inside, and you're done, okay? After developing these, we realized that there's actually a much bigger market on the back side. And if you can zoom in on this, let me show you that.
The towing.
Pretty much all of these SUVs, minivans, all have coil springs on the back. And as soon as you hook up a trailer of any sort, guess what?
Yep.
Okay?
Well, thank you so much for having us. Even though we're going to fit it and forget it, we're not going to forget you. And we've really enjoyed having you.
You're very kind.
Thank you so
Annie.
much.
Nice meeting you.